Hey everybody, it's me Stacey here at Scrapbooking Made Simple, scrapbookingmadesimple.com. Hello, and welcome to today's In the Studio with Stacey class, where I take fine art products and pair them with paper crafting products to really show you how the two worlds can melt together. Now, I am a brand ambassador for Royal Talents, which means that I get to take classes and I get to learn all about this product, and then I get to share it with you. And that makes my heart so happy. And In the Studio with Stacey class is a series of classes. We do 1 month at a time where I pick one type of fine art product from Royal Talents and other amazing fine art companies. And every Tuesday for that entire month, I show you different ways of how to use that product. Things that I had never known before, I had never seen before, I had never used before until becoming a brand ambassador for Royal Talents. And now I get the joy and the pleasure and the honor of sharing it with all of you. Because at heart, I'm a paper crafter. That's what I do. We make cards, we make mini albums, we do a little mixed media, maybe a little altered art, but for the most part, I'm a paper crafter, and that's what Scrapbooking Made Simple is, a paper crafting store. But wow, when I learned how amazing fine art product is, and that it generally doesn't cost much more, sometimes not even as much as comparable things in the paper crafting world, and yet the quality is so much different, I was like, sign me up. Absolutely. This month we have been playing with Amsterdam acrylic inks, not acrylic paint, acrylic inks. This is week 3 of our classes. So week 1, I really gave you more of an educational background of what an acrylic ink is and what it's not. Like, it's not a paint. There is a difference to them. I showed you what happens with a dye-based ink versus an acrylic ink. And in week 2, in week 1, we played and we swatched and we played with a brayer a little bit just to kind of show you how the colors work together and how they lay on top of each other and how beautiful they can be. And then week 2, we got into using them with stamps and mixing them with watercolor. In fact, Ecoline liquid watercolor, and how, because an acrylic is made of a thermoplastic, kind of like a plexiglass. That's the binder that's in the product. It makes it so it's moisture resistant. And moisture resistant to means water resistant. Oh yes, we did so much fun last week. So if you haven't seen any of those classes, you may want to bebop back on our playlist to take a look at the first 2 weeks of Amsterdam acrylic ink. Now for today, I've got we're gonna do something different. It's a little bit different than what I had planned on doing, and I'm gonna have to speed this up just a wee bit. My youngest son, Michael Jr., wasn't feeling well this morning and had to go to the doctor, and no appendicitis, thank goodness. We were worried about that, but it has caused me to be a wee bit behind today. So I am going to play with Gasen paper and vellum and our acrylic ink. It is an ink, not a paint. It is very, very, very fluid. In fact, it's a hyperfluid acrylic, which means it just flows beautifully. And can you blend them? Yes, they will blend to make new colors. But where it really shines is in that fact that it does not move once it's dry and you put moisture down, it stays put. Now we've played with gouache earlier this year, and we were using gouache on vellum because gouache, even though it's a watercolor, gouache is an opaque watercolor. It dries bing, bang, boom. And so you could put it on vellum and it was stunning, stunning on vellum. I have a whole month about gouache. If you don't know what gouache is, it's an opaque watercolor and it's amazing. And we've used oil pastels. Again, that had this, the gouache one on vellum, the oil pastels had this resist property to it, and I've got a whole month on oil pastels for you as well. Today with the acrylic, with the liquid acrylic, it is taking, we're going to use it like we did with a gouache on vellum, only we get to use metallics today. Metallics. And we're going to use it on Gasen paper, kind of like we did with well, we used it on regular paper too, but Gasen paper, because it's going to be beautiful on Gasen paper, and we're playing with just the metallics today. And the metallics, there's this amazing, there's 2 golds and a silver, and this, are they calling this copper? This copper is out of the world. It's amazing. So a couple golds. I've got a light gold, I've got a dark gold, I've got a silver, I've got a bronze. Bronze is pretty too. And we're gonna play with these on vellum and on Gasen paper. So another way to use them, and the thing that is so cool about them is that on the vellum they dry bing, bang, boom. Bing, bang, boom. If you have stencils, you now have the most beautiful vellum ever, and it's not going to warp the vellum. So maybe we start there and then we move to the Gasen paper. I think that's what we're gonna do. And today I've got an 8.5 or an 8x10 gel plate from Jelly Arts down. I know I knew this at one time, but this, because I'm using liquids, because I'm going to be working with liquids today, I'm not going to use my stencil and stamp tool because I don't want to get that sticky grid wet. But by gosh, this gel press, which is what it really is a gel press, is beautiful for holding everything in place too, and it becomes part of my palette. Who knew? So I'm going to tilt on down. We're going to get started for today, and I've got stencils from the Crafters Workshop, just a little bit of everything for you. And today really is a play day, so I can show you more techniques you can do with liquid acrylic ink. Now, could you stamp on vellum with pigment-based ink, a metallic? Yes. You would have to either let it dry or throw embossing powder over the top. Well, let me tilt down, and we're gonna talk and work at the same time. It's super good to see everybody. Hello, hello. Glad I made it back. I'm glad we're here today. I was a little worried whether I'd be able to get this done or not, but we're just gonna do it, right? That's what we do. We're just gonna make magic happen. Okay, so I've got my Jelly Art gel press, and this is, or gel plate, and this is an 8x10. So I have plenty of room, and the cool thing about it is no matter what you put down, it doesn't move. It's kind of like my craft mat here, which has silicone on the backside, so my craft mat doesn't move. But here you put something down and it just doesn't move, whether it be paper or vellum. And today I am going to be playing with the acrylics in the metallics, and they are dreamy. I love the acrylics. I'm really learning oodles about them, but I'll tell you, if I had to have some of the colors, it would absolutely be the metallics, because you can do so much with them. Probably the black too, maybe the black and the white. But I think their colors are just magical. Now with the acrylic ink, you do have to shake it, and it may be a little lumpy on the inside. And if that's the case, get yourself a little stirrer like you would for coffee, and go in there and stir it up really, really well. It being an acrylic, will dry super fast. It will stay put where you paint with it, where you ink with it, where you stamp with it. And yes, you can add water or some other liquid over the top of it, and it's not going to move. It's going to stay. So I think we'll start with the vellum. And I am using super heavyweight vellum from Paper Favorites. This is 220 GSM vellum. This is as thick as I have ever seen, and I've seen some pretty thick vellum. So let's go here, and it just sticks right to my surface, which is amazing. And again, I don't want to use my stencil and stamp tool because I'm going to be using liquids and I don't want to get it all over my sticky grid. Now I've got my colors, and let's do a deep gold. So I'm going to give it a really good shake, and I'm going to be using a spouncer today. Between the vellum and the Gasen paper, which I'll talk to you about more when we get to it, I'm going to use both with a spouncer. One of them, however, I'm going to go in there and kind of rub in, and one of them I'm literally going to spounce in. So same tool, just using it a little differently. And because I have got room at the top, I can use this as my palette as well and just clean it right up. So a little pipette is in my jar, and this is a wide mouth jar, and less is more. I'm going to start with a little bit here. I'm going to come in and pick it up with my spouncer, and this is by Hobby Gross, which is out of Denmark, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to start adding my color. Now, because the vellum is also of plastic substrate, I can just rub this color right on, and less is more. So I don't want to put too much out, because what if I don't need that much? I don't want to waste it because it's hard to put it back in the jar. And I can always pick it up and get more out of the jar, but I don't want to have so much on my palette that if I want to put it back in the jar, it's like, well, how do I do that? And you can see that I'm coming in and I'm rubbing. I'm not spouncing. So a couple little drops will do you. Like 1, 2, 3 at a time maybe. The ink goes a really long way, and it's not a pigment ink. It's not a dye-based ink. It's not an alcohol ink. It's an acrylic ink. So the binder in it is that acrylic. And that's what makes it waterproof, moisture resistant. It sticks to just about anything. It has a better adhesion than almost any other ink out there. It's resistant to any kind of breakage or cracking. It also has more pigment than the Amsterdam acrylic paint. So there's more pigment in this than its cousin, the acrylic paint. And it's the acrylic that gives it its name. It's that binder. There's no solvents in here. It cleans up easy with water. And let's see what we have. So do I give it a second? Well, gosh. How about that's dry? That's amazing. How long did that take? That was no time at all, and you can see. I wonder if I put it against black. Do I have some black here? Oh yeah, you can see that gold, and it's dry. Like, it's dry. Okay, a paste isn't going to do that for you. A paste is not going to dry that flat and that fast. This has no texture to it at all. And look at how beautiful it is. Yeah, I like it on the black. So let's do again. And let's change our color this time. So down, and I'm not going to clean this, I'm just going to keep going. So if you have vellum and you've always loved those beautiful printed vellums, well, now you can print it on your own. You just take your stencil and your Amsterdam acrylic ink, and away you go. There's no dry time. You saw that. It was like, wow. And I'm going to keep using my graphics as my palette and holding everything down. Look, Ma, no maker's tape. And then go in. And put that color down. Now I started with a new sponge, so it'll take a minute or take a couple dabs to get it really nicely loaded. And just brush away. Well, you're not really brushing, and you're not dabbing. You're just blending. And let's see what we got. Pull up. Pull up. And again, you've got that metallic on your vellum. So pretty, and it's dry. I love that. It's dry. So let's do another one. This time I'm going to change my stencil. So both of the stencils are by the Crafters Workshop. The first one is called Mini Cosmic Swirl, and this one is Hanging Vines. You may already own something very similar to them, and if not, we'll have them in the Studio with Stacey category, or you can visit your local paper crafting store or fine art store, and they might have something comparable. So down I go. And this time I'll start with my dark gold, and I'm going to give it another shake. And I'll go back to my dark gold spouncer. And I keep putting my drops down. Just come in and add that color. Oh, Stacey, I still had some down here. Back in. Put 3 little drops there. And then I think I'm going to come in with maybe a little bit of my copper. And I'm on vellum, and we know vellum and water do not love each other, so using a watercolor would not be possible. Ecoline watercolors, they do make a gold. On vellum, it would be a little more tricky because it is a water-based product, where this is an acrylic binder. And I'm just going to add some copper to some of these. And peel up. And peel up. I'm curling a little bit, but it'll flatten out. And now I've got the 2 tones going on. So you could use the regular acrylic colors as well. Absolutely. I just wanted to play with the metallics, and I don't know if it's dry yet. Oh, I'm being all careful when I don't have to be. That's amazing. And now think of the stencils you own, the vellum you own, and how quickly that dries down. Kind of like a gouache. A gouache dries very fast too. Oh, that one edge wasn't done. I was too fast. That's okay. Beautiful though, isn't it? Now what can we do with these? Can we add anything more to them? Well, we could turn it around and maybe grab one of our acrylic colors. Ooh, this is, I wonder if I have a deeper green somewhere. Well, we're gonna go for it. Maybe we take this. Now this is an acrylic ink. Even though it looks like an Ecoline jar, it is not. It's an acrylic ink. What if I put a little over here and a little over here? Now I turned it to the back side because if I add that ink over the top, it'll just cover right over what we've just done. But If I add it to the back, look at how fast it's drying. That dry time is what keeps it from curling up into a tiny little rolled piece of vellum. Now let's give it a second to dry. And now we've covered the back of our vellum to where now it's not transparent anymore. I wonder if it would look better on white. Hard to tell. Maybe. Oh yeah. On white, that's beautiful. And it's dry. Okay, these acrylic inks have an absolute purpose in our paper crafting world. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, let's do another one. What did I do with those other two that I played with? Okay, let's do another one. So this is the one I did with the copper. Gosh, I don't know what we're gonna get, but we're gonna get it. We're just gonna try. I think the red would be too close to the copper. So again, an acrylic ink. And I'm just putting it down. It dries so fast. I wonder if I can get a darker color if I just go straight to it. And it's that dry time that helps keep the vellum from curling. We're just gonna see what happens. What's the worst that can happen? It's just vellum and some ink. I think I'm gonna dust this off. a little yellow. Seems to not bother it if I just go straight to it. All right, I probably have way too much on, but we're gonna go for it. Like I said, we were just gonna go for it, right? And see what we get. Give it a chance to dry. That's crazy. Yeah, I need to soften that line out so I can see that really big demarcation line there, and I want to soften it out. You think I can do it? It's all dry now. The yellow's not dark enough to do it. Let me just blend and mix and mush colors together. Oh, that works. The mushing of the colors is working. And what looks like a hot mess on one side might look fab on the other. Little bit of curling until it completely dries. But I colored the back now. I love the colors. And it's on vellum. I could have here, this one's all nice and dry and all flat. On the black, on the white, and this one we didn't color at all. On the white, or on the black. Oh, pretty. And that copper. This is on vellum. You can do this. Chances are you have vellum. We did this one a little earlier. Put it on the white. With just the blue back behind it. All right, let's move on. And let's do something with Gasen paper. So what's Gasen paper? Gasen paper is a Japanese washi paper. It is an unusual type of paper. First off, it absolutely loves water. Okay, so about that. Cleaned up a little bit. Gasen paper loves water. It's by Yasutomo. It is a Japanese washi paper, and we use it when we play with watercolor. There's two sides to Gasen paper. There's a front or a top that's super smooth, and then there's a back side, which kind of is fuzzy, a little furry maybe, and that's the size the side we want to use. Now you can see I've already got some ink on mine from that kind of sprayed over. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put this down, the nice smooth side down and that fuzzy side up. And then I'm gonna get it wet. So I can take my Hake brush, and a Hake brush is a brush, you know what, let me show you in case you've never seen a Hake brush before. You get a paper towel because I'm gonna need it. A Hake brush is a brush that holds oodles and oodles of water. So I've just dipped it in, you see? But if I wring it out, it holds oodles and oodles of water. If I dip it in and I pull it out, it's not that it drips, but it holds lots of water. So I'm gonna put my Gasen paper with that smooth side facing down. And then I'm gonna take my Hake brush and I'm gonna get it wet. Nice and wet because Gasen paper loves water. Then I'm going to come in and I am going to play with my Ecoline liquid watercolors. I am going to move them in and drop a few. So if I drop a little bit, same bottle. The difference is Ecoline first says Ecoline on it. Amsterdam always has that red band across the top. So red band, acrylic ink. No red band, Ecoline liquid watercolor. I'm going to take and drop a few drops and then maybe I drop a few drops. And then maybe I drop a few drops. And then I take one of my fusion brushes and with a little bit of water, I just come in here and start to move it. Now there might be a few little balls on the back from you adding your water and your paintbrush. You're just gonna let it be. I just kind of want to move some of these colors. And what ultimately kind of looks like a hot mess on the back. I could have used, instead of a Hake brush, I could have just used my spritzer. And if I had used my spritzer, I probably would have less of the little balls of paper coming up because the spritzer doesn't put down as much water as that Hake brush. But I just kind of want to move my colors a little bit, and it does. It looks kind of like a hot mess on the back. I can add, I want to drop some more color somewhere. And then I think I'm going to turn it over. And what I end up with is a beautiful, beautiful beginning of something. Don't know what that something is yet, but it's a beautiful beginning of something. Now, I can take my stencil, put my stencil right over my wet paper. Why can I do that? Because I'm going to use my acrylic ink. My acrylic ink, it's fine. It's not going to, when it hits the water, it's not going to do what a watercolor does, which is go psh, psh. No, it's going to stay in place and be happy where it is. By gosh, this is getting to, this is so pretty. I almost don't want to do anything to it. So let's take a little bit of my acrylic ink. Now you couldn't do this with a pigment-based ink. You couldn't do this with an alcohol-based ink. You couldn't do this with a dye-based ink. And here I have to spounce. I can't rub. I need to use the spouncer as a spouncer. On the vellum, I could blend. Here you're not going to want to. You're going to want to bounce it in. So this isn't a paint. If I was using acrylic paint, it would take much longer for it to dry. The dry time for an acrylic paint is quite substantial, depending on how thick you put it on. But in ink, this is going to dry much faster, and it's not going to move like a dye-based ink would or an alcohol ink would. And a pigment ink would just make a kind of a mess. A pigment-based ink, you would have to maybe throw an embossing powder over the top of it. So I've got a nice bounce going. And then I can pull it up. And let's put it against a piece of paper. Pull it up. And we have made magic happen. The colors are absolutely dreamy. And that metallic is going to dry metallic. It looked like a hot mess when I started, but it ended up absolutely beautiful. Now I gotta let it dry because the paper's wet. But my ink is almost dry. It's amazing. Look at how pretty is that. Let's do it again. So I've got this one over here. Let's do it again. So let's take this one. Let's get another piece of Gasen. Smooth side down, no matter when you're using it. Anytime you add anything to Gasen that adds the water, where you add the water, it's always on that kind of fuzzy side. And this time, I can just use my spray bottle. I've got my Gasen paper has got stuff on it already, but I'm going to be fine with that. And let's drop some green. And some yellow. And this is my Ecoline watercolor. And some blue. Let's take my fusion brush from Yasutomo and just kind of move them around. I'm just trying to fill in any space that's white. So because I used my spray bottle, you don't get as much of the little rollies from the paper because the paper doesn't get quite as wet. With a Hockey brush, the paper gets really wet. And it always looks like a hot mess from the back. It always looks like, what did I do? But then when you're all done, it truly is like magic. So I'm going to flip this over. That's almost all water there. That's from the Hockey, or from the spray bottle. Put it down. Let's grab my stencil. Right over the top. Let's shake up that, I like that dark gold. I like the dark gold. Well, I haven't done the bronze. And this time you spounce. Right over the top. So normally when we use Gasen paper, we have to use black, we use Jacquard's black waterproof ink because it won't move when we add all the color, the liquid watercolor to it. But with an acrylic ink, because the acrylic is the binder, look at us go. Should we see? Oh, pretty. But what if I added a little darker? If I just tapped in a little bit darker. Let's see what we get. So now I've blended two colors. And then lift up. And bam. Super fast, super easy, great way to use metallics. Really great way to use metallics. And on paper, that might be a bit of a challenge. So with the Gasen, we've always been able to add the liquid watercolors to the back. Move that one. Let's move that one over there. We've always been able to add the liquid watercolors to the back. The challenge has been, what color do we have for the ink? It's always been black, always. Now that's my fuzzy side. Just get my paper nice and wet. Whether you're using a hake brush, now let's just move them into each other. And all I'm trying to do is fill that white space. Any place there's still some white, just fill it up with some color. Okay. I think that looks okay. Let's flip it over. That's where I'm at. And let's grab this again. I still haven't cleaned it. And this time maybe I use some silver. And I give my silver a good shake. Drop some down. It's a new sponge, so it'll need to kind of absorb in there a little bit. And I come over and I spounce. And I'm not spouncing hard. I'm just layering that color in. I think my sponge is well loaded now. And that pipette gives you just enough. Don't do more than one pipette at a time. Okay, let's see what we got. Oh, it's so pretty. You never know what you're going to get until you get it. I even like it with a little bit of that green behind it. Oh, look at how good that looks. And just as soon as it's dry, it's good to go. It's not that the acrylic takes long to dry, it's that I've got the Gasen paper so wet. The back side, not so pretty. The front side looks beautiful. Love playing with Gasen paper. Love having different opportunities. Or oh, okay, so that's them on black. Let's turn this over and put them on white. Colors are amazing. So whether you're playing with Gasen paper or you're playing with vellum, where'd our vellums go? Hello, vellums, where did I put you? That's not vellum. I don't know where I put my vellums. Got so excited with my Gasen paper. Well, no matter what you're using, you can absolutely make magic happen. Gonna have a blended color here. Oh, definitely a blended color going on. But look at it against the silver, against the white. Oh, that's elegant, isn't it? It's got a little copper in there, but that's okay. Heavyweight vellum and acrylic is just sheer joy too. Lets you do, and it dries almost instantaneously. Wow, look at that. So acrylics, oh, I've got this really wet. Acrylic ink from Amsterdam has oodles of uses. Things that we haven't been able to do before with regular colors that we can do now. Between the Gasen paper with the metallics, ooh, and the, there, I'll hold it, and the vellums with the metallics. Now it's dry. Isn't that crazy on vellum how quickly it dries? And the Gasen paper, almost there. Love acrylic inks. Had no idea what they did or why we would want them. Oh, vellum. Vellum. Gasen. Same but different. Vellum, beautiful. Gasen. Beautiful. All right, so the acrylic inks are what we are playing with this month. But I wanted you to see how you can pair them and use them with oodles of different things. And the dry time super fast, and then resistant to moisture. That is what allows you to go in and add water over the top. Now, we have all of them on sale. We do. We have all of the acrylic inks on sale. This week it's all about, we have them all, but this week it's all about the metallics and playing with some of the metallics. We also have, we'll put the 2 stencils that I used today on sale, and of course the Gasen and the paper favorites. You're gonna need those. Those are Gasen paper, paper favorites, vellum, 220 GSM, super heavyweight vellum. But you can also visit your local art store and see what they have for you. Absolutely, go visit a local art store. Ask them for liquid acrylic ink. Ask them for acrylic ink and see what they have. Or visit your local craft store and see if they have heavyweight vellum. Gasen might be a little bit of a chore. The heavyweight vellum 220 GSM is also might be a little hard to find, but your store may have it for you, absolutely. So go take a look, visit those independent retailers, say hello, introduce yourself, and then if you don't have one, of course you can always come back to Scrapbooking Made Simple, scrapbookingmadesimple.com. Now this is week 3 of our October classes on acrylic ink from Amsterdam. One more class left to go, and I think I know what I want to do, but I'm not 100% positive. But by next week, absolutely, our last technique will be next week, and I think I want to do something where it moves. I think I'm gonna do something where it moves, but we'll see. Time will tell. So until next Tuesday, the next time you see me is Thursday. Thursday at 6 p.m. sunny California time, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, where we have our next New For You event. And we are featuring indigo blue stamps and stencils, which would work beautifully with all of this stuff. So if you love to see fabulous new product at amazing prices, visit us on Thursdays for our New For You events, where each Thursday we bring you a new manufacturer and their latest and greatest products, all value priced to start with. Okay, you guys, it's me, Stacey, and I will see you Thursday. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.